What are the environmental and social consequences of climate change?
There is so many different impacts of climate change on society and nature, and there is a really long list about these impacts. Some of them can be, let's say, like a harder production of food, because in some areas you have strong droughts that are stronger in comparison to the past, so now it's harder to produce food because of that droughts. Then you have like a spread of pests and disease that can be harmful to the also plants that we produce for the food. Then some of that pest and disease can also be harmful to the nature and the plants in the nature. So you have some kind of invasive species that coming in areas in which they didn't exist in the past. And then also you can many other things, like a smaller amount of water in some rivers when we talk about the areas that are affected by drought. And if you have a smaller amount on water, then you can have harder water supply into the cities and other places. Then you can have less production of energy, for example. Then also irrigation is harder, etc. Then you can have direct impacts on forests. Then you can have direct impacts on public health, because during the heat waves you have like a strong pressure on public health in terms that older people and people with chronic diseases can be hardly affected. But these heat waves, for example, in Europe, heat wave in 2022, there were about like 60,000 more deaths in Europe in comparison that heat wave doesn't happen. And of course, then you have these impacts on social level. So you have more pressure in terms of increased inequality between different groups and between different nations. And also what is very interesting is that this kind of justice between generations, because the generations in the past and the generations that currently lives, they are mainly contributed to the problem of the climate change, but on the other side, the generations in the future will be the one who will deal with greatest consequences of the climate change. And also one of the biggest threats when we talk about the climate change is the climate migrations. So you have a lot of people around the world and they want to change their places of their living because of different extremes and impacts. And it's already recorded that around the world we have like 20 million people that are moved because of these climate impacts. Currently there are some kind of inner migrants, so they move just within the borders of their countries. But in the future they will probably to go beyond the borders, and that can be a really serious problem about the future.